sort of main challenges around that type of investigation?
Yeah, I mean, the way we see it is there's this kind of big gap that they've got. There's so many tools out there, and many of them featured on your website. Different ways that you can obtain things online. But there's almost been nowhere else for them to turn other than to go to, a traditional advisory firm to obtain the necessary information. Now, that worked really well historically when you had very small numbers of cases requiring enhanced checks. So you might do, a few dozen or less cases a year where you would go to an advisory, and it might take quite a bit of time. You get quite a detailed report. And obviously the work that those advisories do is very sophisticated. But when you're getting into a scenario where there are hundreds or thousands, it's just not practical or efficient to go to that level of scrutiny or to incur those costs. So this is really where we've tried to come in and really solve that problem for the users who need a little bit of additional information, but they don't necessarily need a 50-page report or an extremely in-depth expert investigation of the type they would get from an advisory firm. They might simply need to obtain shareholder information for a company in Mexico, and maybe they can't scrape that from the web, or they might need to be able to demonstrate that a factory that a client claims they have in a remote part of China actually exists, and can we demonstrate that it exists, and can someone go and take a picture of it and verify that? So there are a lot of these what we call tasks, simple pieces of information gathering, that it's not necessarily advice that's required or big analysis that's required. It's just this very specific, discrete information input that can fit into the whole picture and allow the business to proceed. And so it's really for our users, it's being able to have at their fingertips those information inputs. We're not advisors or analysts or anything of the sort. It's feeding those in-house teams with those